welcome everyone today to the to the session that we have going on, which is the meet and greet and the opportunity to get to know all the different opportunities for joining the open calls that are happening across the MetaOS cluster, and also our special invited guest from the NG-IoT cluster, the Next Generation IoT. My name is Brendan Rowan. I'm part of the Unlock CEI project, which is supporting the management of the EU Cloud Edge IoT. And we're looking forward today to welcome you all to get to know what's happening here. So what are we looking at today? Well, really, it's a chance for you to understand what is the EU Cloud Edge IoT continuum. It's quite a diverse ecosystem of actors and quite a large combination of different initiatives from research and innovation that's defining the future, and I'll leave colleagues to explain a bit further. It's a chance for you to understand very quickly which of the open calls that might be relevant for your company or your organization. For those of you who haven't been in this environment before, I'll do a quick introduction on what is an open call, and also give you a chance to really identify where is the best fit with the project, with the use cases, with the technology, with the different opportunities. In terms of what's happening today, so we will be, first of all, I'll be taking a few more minutes of your time just to go through the session. I'll then be handing over to Rolf Remmenschneider, who is from the IoT unit, who's head of sector for the IoT unit at the European Commission. He'll give an overview of what is the EU Cloud Edge IoT ecosystem as it stands. Then we will hear from the 6 open calls from the MetaOS cluster. Then we'll have the NG-IoT open call from Man from Intelliat. And while you're deciding which teams you want to meet with in the parallel sessions, I'll have a quick chat with a couple of SMEs who have already joined, who have participated in the past, to tell you about their experience as well. So there's 2 parallel sessions. You will be able to go to any of the rooms that you wish to go to meet with any of the projects, have a chat. They have more details to go through with you there. And then we will also have a second session to give you the opportunity to meet with at least 2 projects today. And then finally, my colleague Golbu will finish off with telling you more about how you can get further involved within the EU Cloud Edge IoT and what are the next options for you there as well. In terms of just very quickly, what is an open call? For those of you unfamiliar with the vocabulary, it's an informal term we use for what's called the financial support to third parties. This is a mechanism that allows SMEs and small organizations to participate in these large and important research and innovation actions happening at a European level. So it's about really growing the number of actors who participate in these ecosystems. It's about allowing organizations to contribute to the tech that's being built, to demonstrate the value of what's being created, to help extend the different use cases, and to provide more users and also more market engagement within what's being developed here. You, for example, just on the right, so the consortium is a member of partners. They've got a relationship with the European Commission, who has funded their initiative, and you as an organization will be coming in with a relationship with the consortium there. All open calls you will find on the European Commission platform on that link there. However, they're all individually managed by the project. So as I say, the relationship is between you and the consortium in that way there. Then just what we have on the table here today. So there's over 4.3 million euro to be distributed over the next 6 to 7 months across 6 MetaOS projects and 1 NG-IoT. You can expect to find between 60,000 euro and 200,000 euro for an engagement, which will last between 6 and 18 months. And overall, we're expecting between 40 and 44 opportunities here, or grants to be delivered there, looking for startups, SMEs, researchers, and developers there. And if you join these projects, you'll be able to meet across a set of use cases that are really interesting across various areas there. So you can be looking at agriculture, manufacturing, smart city, crisis, energy and utilities, and transportation and logistics. So lots of opportunities to get involved and lots of interesting areas there today. So that's what you're going to hear from me. I'm going to stop now and hand over to Rolf from the Commission, who will give you a bit more of a holistic overview of what is the EU Cloud Edge IoT, and then we'll catch up with the open calls coordinators. So over to you, Rolf.
Thanks so much, Brendan. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen online. It's a pleasure to be here. I'll briefly introduce what we call sort of the cluster of Edge Cloud, Cloud Edge IoT. I will share my screen. Here we go. Not entering too much of the detail, I guess I work in the IoT unit. The IoT unit is coordinating this cluster together with the software and cloud unit, so it's a bit cross-cutting. But the open calls are mainly focused around what we call MetaOS projects in the IoT area. It's part of a cloud edge IoT cluster. Let's see where. Yeah. And we're building on what Brandon said, the computing continuum from cloud to edge to small devices in IoT. Why we're doing that? Because we see there is a paradigm shift between what we call cloud computing on the one hand and the decentralized intelligence of IoT and IoT devices. And there will be a new infrastructure coming up, what we call the edge, which has the capability to process data where the data is generated, very close to, and at the same time to apply cloud principles towards the decentralized edge nodes, meaning it also has an orchestration function between cloud computing, local computing, edge computing, as well as coordinating and linking to different IoT devices. We take that new paradigm as a cluster approach, of course, of different projects and calls. And that's why we need what we call horizontal actions to look, how could we coordinate across the clusters. One of the cost-cutting issues are indeed extending the ecosystem, bringing in new stakeholders, particularly small companies, and SMEs, what we call extending the ecosystem. We see great opportunity in the new area of cloud edge IoT computing, particularly for industrial IoT. We see that there's growth in industrial applications, and this paradigm shift definitely happens with new capabilities of computing close to the connected assets. It could be a car, could be a production asset, or could be any other healthcare device. So it has more computing capacity. It will process data locally, and it will generate a paradigm shift in how you design these new products in the future. So we see this thing will happen particularly in industrial applications, manufacturing, but also automotive, aerospace, energy, and the other application areas. So there's a promise for that. Why we're focusing public research on that area. Going on, a couple of projects have different use cases as a proof of concept. We need this special use case in order to cover a wide area to have a proof of concept to see what are the opportunities in the different areas. I think some of them have been shown by Brandon already. You see it a bit, the different areas linked to the different projects. Buildings, renewables, manufacturing, railway, automotive, software-defined vehicle, farming, you call it. What we have in the open call, what we call, if you want to bring in new people, most projects have two stages of an open call. The first stage looking at technology companies who can further develop technologies and components to the framework, which could be applied to the edge ecosystem for the different use cases. And most likely in the second part of the call, they will call for new application areas not yet covered by the different projects. So as said, we have that as an umbrella, the different use cases to enter a vast area of applications. I'm looking for, component developers, system integrators who have experience eventually in one of the use cases. As said, we are running a set of different projects as a cluster, building a community in cloud edge IoT in order to coordinate, to maximize the impact, in order to look at what are the cross-sector functions, initially looking at architecture, standards, interoperability issues, but also how to apply open source components across the board. So that's why it's good to have a discussion and coordination across the different projects. And almost all of the projects have these open calls. So we want the open calls to be sort of visible across the projects, to have sort of a streamlining a bit the packaging for the open call. And once you understood applying to one and you're interested in another one, that we lower the barrier, particularly for smaller companies, in order to enter European projects. What's an IoT ecosystem? If I talk about extending the ecosystem, in principle, you have this sort of IoT network, small devices which are connected. Majority of devices are transferring data to sort of cloud storage far away over the internet. It will be analyzed. You make some services around of it. They're using a gateway. As said, in principle, it's quite a complex infrastructure. Talking about connectivity, different protocols, analytical systems, AI comes into the game. And now, talking about additionally, that you have some edge intelligence, that you have capabilities close to the gateway eventually. In order to talk about this ecosystem, how does it look like and why we need sort of an open ecosystem? Because we don't believe that one company, particularly not small companies, but also not big companies, can manage such a complex ecosystem alone. So what we think is we're looking at a framework of an open IoT edge ecosystem in the European market to manage the complexity, what we call for an open platform approach. It means, that you have access to more data, there are more possibilities for solutions. We want to bring in more developers. I think that's an essential point. We want to increase the community, the knowledge, the capabilities. We want to have a wider components and service catalog, and at the end of the day, also more users across a platform. So the value of the platform is the size of the ecosystem, and the ecosystem could consist of sort of a community of developers, particularly for open source, but it also can consist of a community of adopters and application developers who bring technologies to new application areas and accelerate the adoption. So we're looking at the open ecosystem, and that's why we ask each of the projects to look not only at the trends of edge computing, which drives the innovation, but we ask projects to look at an open framework in order to allow the ecosystem to grow. That means we have to analyze the technology approach against open standards, open interfaces, open source components and frameworks, which are used within the project, within the architecture. We want to have sort of a high-level reference architecture model, which gives you a bit of orientation where you could contribute. We want to have sort of a community of interested smaller companies, SMEs, mid-caps, what we call an emerging ecosystem. And that's part of the workshop today and also the support actions in order to increase the awareness across the ecosystem, increase interest, and mobilize stakeholders around that cloud edge IoT ecosystem. Yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say. I think one example of what, if you talk about a reference architecture model, it basically gives you a guidance, what is sort of components I use in the project. What sort of links are made to cloud systems? What is the portal? What sort of open source components are used? What analytical tools are used? What sort of APIs you're targeting, and what sort of standards are you using? So this is a bit of a navigator roadmap, what we call an architecture model, and we request that actually for each project which has an open call as a guidance, particularly for people outside to find an entry point in the project. More information you'll find definitely on open calls and all the other projects on the portal, but that will be shown to you many times today. Many thanks for your attention, and I'm looking forward to stimulating discussions. Thank you.
Sorry, Brandon, I think you're on mute.
I just had a very good talk there, just so you all know. I'll repeat it. Just saying thank you very much to Ralph for providing us with that overview of really what is the guidance behind the initiative of having so many open calls surrounding the Cloud Edge IoT and extending and building out that ecosystem. So now I'm moving on to the rapid fire part of the session. This is where each of the open calls coordinators will give you in 2 minutes very quick overview of exactly what their open call is about, the key information you need to know. And when you go into the parallel session through the breakout rooms, that's your chance to go into the detail with them and to ask specific questions. And they have more detail, as mentioned here, for example, of the architecture, the components, but also the types of use cases and what the types of organizations they wish to have join. So if I can first call on Ignacio Lacalle from Aero. So Nacho, over to you.
Hello, can you hear me, Brendan?
Perfectly, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the presentation and for everybody to be here. As mentioned by Brendan, we will have more time to discuss this later in the parallel room, but just to introduce you to the open call by Project Kairos, which we coordinate, that will open starting next month, 1st of October 2023, and will close 4 months later, in 31st January 2024. We are calling upon innovative applications of a duration of 8 months with a value of 6,000 euros each, and eligible candidates can be SMEs, RTOs and academia, and individuals. We are not opening the possibility for large companies to apply. What we will fund will be small projects that will validate our technology or the ideas of our technology based on architecture and focusing on one of our 5 use cases. There's the link to the open call. We are currently at the end of finalizing all the documentation so that you can consult it in our website very soon. And we hope you will find our opportunity interesting and with the concepts of our architecture interesting for you. The use cases of our project are 5, or as follows: data-driven cognitive production line in the manufacturing sector, containerized edge computing near renewable energy sources, so edge computing and energy, HPC for agricultural machinery, smart edge services for the maritime port continuum, and energy efficient, health safe and sustainable smart buildings. Our architecture is composed by several blocks, which we will depict in detail in the next minutes, but we basically plan to deliver a meta operating system ranging from IoT devices up to cloud, provide different aspects like security, orchestration, federation, service management, etc. Regarding the evaluation process, that will start just afterwards, the finalization of the deadline, which will be from 31st January on, will take 2 months, and will be comprised of the phase of pre-screening, scoring, and ranking. And for that, we will trust in assigning 2 external expert reviewers per call, and also an additional ethical observer of the whole process to guarantee that no inference has been taken place in the process. Overall rank from 1 to 25, and threshold is 19. Sorry for the time. That's it for me.
No problem. Thank you, Nacho. I'm going to be tight on the time here because you've plenty of time to talk to people later in detail. Next up, then we have Fluidos. So I think, is it Constanza or Demetrius presenting?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, Constanza, go ahead.
Perfect. So firstly, I'm very pleased. Thank you very much for being here. It's very good to have this opportunity to present here. Well, the opportunity is stemming from the Fluidos project. Fluidos project aims to create and develop a fluid dynamic and scalable computing continuum. And to do so, as you can see from the slide, I don't know why it looks like this, but we will be offering 2 types of grants, Fluidos Technology Extension grants and Fluidos Use Case grants. The first open call will run from December 2023 to February 2024. In this first open call, the technological extension grants and the use case grants will be awarded to a total of 10 selected applicants, specifically 5 for each category of grants. The second open call will be run instead from August 2024 to October 2024, and the use case grants will be awarded to 5 additional, of course, selected applicants. More details, and then of course there is a dedicated section. The technological extension grants will be open for individual entities, that is to say individuals, small, medium enterprises and startups. There will be offer additional open sources functionality functions, let's say so, to the Fluidos projects, and the applicants will receive up to 75,000 euros. Differently, the use case grants will be open for both individuals and small consortia. That means up to 3 entities, and will be given to applicants that will be test and validate Fluidos architecture and software, providing as well their additional software on the top of Fluidos architecture. And these applicants will receive up to 120,000 euros. We will be having a dedicated section after, so just to conclude, don't miss these opportunities because these are really great opportunities starting from December 2023. And again, 5 selected applicants for the TAG grant and 5 from the UCG grants. And concerning the evaluation process after the closing, we will be having 1 month of process evaluation. The external open course for evaluation will be published soon. And that's it to stay in time, but
Yes.
really it's a great occasion. We will be discuss these after. Thanks.
Thank you, Constanza, and look forward to having discussions in your breakout room. So great. ICOS, so Elena, over to you.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can all hear me. So,
Yes, perfect.
So ICOS, we already have an open call open. So it's been launched 28th of August 2023, and it's closing 2nd of November 2023. So hurry up. You can always start an application, see what you're dealing with, and then submit it up until 2nd of November, 17 CAT. What we are offering is 200,000 euros per consortia, so per project, for the duration of 12 months of the support program, and we're searching for 5 beneficiaries, so 5 consortia, up to 2 entities that need to be SMEs or mid-caps. We are looking for ICOS solution development project. So I will explain what it is later on, but you can see more on the ICOS webpage, ICOS project.eu. You can find all the information there. If we may proceed to the next slide. Yes, so we already have key use. What is ICOS? ICOS is Meta operating system to bridge the gap between Internet of Things and cloud. So we already have 4 use cases, and we are looking for, in this first open call, 5 more. And then in the second open call, we will have the single entities that will be testing all 9 use cases that were implemented through ICOS, Meta operating system, in order to reach our goal. What we have so far is agriculture operational robotic platform, in-car advanced infotainment and multimedia management system, railway structural alert monitoring system, energy management and decision support system, and you can find some of our proposed use cases on the website, or you can have your own open use case proposed. What I would like to say is that the support program starts in March next year, and up until then, we will have the evaluation and selection process ongoing. So feel free to plan your time. If you get selected, you will have 1 year full of work. So starting from March next year. So thank you. That is all. I will be in the breakout room with more information.
Thank you, Elena. And 12 months of interesting work and good work. So good luck to everyone who wants to apply there. Okay, and then moving on to Nebulous. So Ana Luisa, over to you.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. So Nebulous is developing Meta OS system platform, and what we aim is to enable the transition for the Progress ecosystem to seamlessly exploit Edge and Fog nodes. What are we offering? We have 2 open calls. The first will be launched in February 2024, as it is planned. It will be open for 2 months. And what we aim here is to for the beneficiaries to try out the different aspects of the platform on a first stage with the validation of basic aspects of the platform that we are developing. And on a second and later stage, we will be offering out some of extended aspects of this platform. We are offering up to 1.50K, and the projects will be running for 7 months. On the first moment, we will be granting 4 projects, and on the second stage of the open call, we will have 5. Who are the eligible organizations? Well, there will be 2 types in this case. We have the micro and SMEs, and also research institutions, research infrastructures, non-profit organizations, and charitable foundations, public research centers, when supporting organizations of category 1 in a collaborative third-party projects. You are welcome to contact us via the open call at nebulouscloud.eu email, and check the latest news via our website that is also shown here. So all in all, saying about Nebulous, we have 5 different use cases. We have the precision agriculture, transportation and logistics, energy and utilities, environment, smart city, a strong impact to the society in the different 5 fields. How does it work, the open call process? We will be opening the open call for 2 months, and after that starts the evaluation process, and we expect to have it concluded by April 2024. And in May, we will sign the contracts with the beneficiaries, and we start the program in June 2024. All the applications will be handled via the F6S platform. So go to www.f6s.com and you can have access to the project platform, where you will find all the necessary information regarding the platform. I will not extend more regarding the components architecture, but I invite you to join us later on together with my technical partners. They will be very glad to answer your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ana Luisa, and looking forward to later. So handing over to Dimitris from Nemo.
Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me. My name is Dimitrios Kias. Here is Nemo, which aims to implement a meta operating system. Here we realize the first open call. The submissions actually are open since the 1st of September and will close on the 13th of November. We offer 150,000 euros to 6 applicants, and the duration in total would be 18 months. That corresponds with the end of the project. So we're looking for SMEs active in, let's say, the whole continuum, covering from technologies in edge computing, in cloud and native software development, including operating systems, IoT and 5G networks, and relevant manufacturing interests, let's say. We plan to extend, let's say, the scope and the technology offered by the NEMO project. So the applicants should be able to provide extensions in meta architecture, implementations of software and hardware, let's say, flavor in the context of network service and relevant resources metering and automated controls components, and also to give us the ability to port NEMO in new heterogeneous IoT devices. If we move to the next slide, NEMO realizes actually 8 use cases in 4 trials, let's say, covering smart farming and precision agriculture, smart energy, smart manufacturing and industry, and also smart media. And the evaluation process, so the submission window will close at the end of November, and then we'll have approximately 3 months of evaluating and selecting the successful applicants. And the actual work of the applicants, of the successful projects, will start at the 1st of March 2024. Some information on the architecture concern, let's say, we cover the whole vertical of the meta operating system, starting from the service management layer to the NEMO kernel, and also to the infrastructure, including the network controlling and managing applications. And also we have some horizontal, some vertical layers that cover cybersecurity and machine learning and AI. But more details on these technical aspects will be available in our breakout room. So we would be happy to have you there and present you in detail the project. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dimitris. And then finally, Nefele. So Diana, over to you.
Yes, thank you. So hi everyone, my name is Diana Jarve, and I'm going to present you then quickly the first open call in Nefele. So in total, the project will have 2 open calls. However, the first open call is approaching. We're going to just talk about it. This open call, it's estimated to start on the 1st of November and close in January next year. Then the supported activities are development of virtual objects, composite virtual objects, including the digital twin concept and generic IoT enablers. And then in terms of eligible applicant type,
Sorry, Diana, you're muted.
Okay, I think someone muted me. So now you hear me, right? All right.
Yes, we hear you.
So
we lost you
yeah.
at 76,000. Go ahead.
Eligible applicants. Did I mention that?
Yes,
I'm not sure.
Yes.
So the eligible applicants then, industrial SMEs and mid-caps that are established in the EU and in Horizon Europe's associated countries. And the first open call is looking to give up to 76,000 per beneficiary. And we're looking to select up to 8 beneficiaries. And then the selected beneficiaries will become part of a support program that will last for 6 months. And they will be paired with a technical mentor who will be helping them out throughout the whole support program, or more like guiding. And yeah, that's it. Thank you. And you can hear more about the project in the breakout rooms.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Diana. And that concludes the 6th MetaOS open calls opportunities. And my colleague, Elizabeth, will put in the chat the link to the brochure if you haven't got it already, just to revise over. And I'll hand over now to Man, who's joining us from Intelliat, which is from the Next Generation IoT Cluster, which is Intelliat is the last project ongoing, and she has an open call opportunity to share here today. So go ahead, madam.
Yeah, thanks for giving me the opportunity. So yes, it's the 3rd open call we are doing. It's the last one. We do it in a slightly different way. We focus on one vertical, and this is manufacturing. And we reach out especially to small SME, micro SME via a hackathon. This is our selection tool to get to know the applicants a little bit better, and to also maybe attract a different kind of SME to our projects. Intelliat is focusing on intelligent, distributed, and human-centered and trustworthy IoT environments, and we focus on the human in the loop, and also testing AR, VR solutions, and also digital twins. We have been extended. We have 14 partners that are currently working in 6 different domains, and some of the partners are SME. So we already, in the first 2 open calls, onboarded 10 smaller companies that supported us in a similar manner as you just listened and heard from the projects that are currently running. Why did we do the open call as a hackathon or as a selection process? In the past open calls, we have seen that especially smaller companies were not as successful as they should be in the open calls, also because 12 or 18 months runway of such projects are usually quite challenging for very small companies. So we are aiming for onboarding 4 companies, and the length of the open call will be 1 pilot month. We will hand out 28,000 in total, and each company in one of the categories that we are looking for will get 7,000. With this 7,000 euro, they will be able to work further on the very early stage solutions that they have. And on the right side, you see the topics that we're aiming for. So the first challenge, secure and transparent billing on the blockchain, is attached to our trustworthiness component and that framework. The second one, virtual industrial revolution using XR, is also attached to the human in the loop concept that we have in mind. AI-driven autonomy for industrial vehicles, very much important for manufacturing and robotics, is focused on the federated learning system that we have, and the remote robot control using multi-agent systems and Web of Things is focusing on the hypermass concept that we have implemented in our open framework. From a timing point of view, everything is happening rapidly. We are open since early August. Our deadline is in mid-October. We are also specifically aiming for small companies in Horizon 2020, because we are still part of Horizon 2020 and associated countries, very small companies, single applicants, no consortia, and especially companies that have a very small headcount. So this is what we're aiming for, and you can check out the guide for applicants. As I said, the application ends on the 8th of October, and I'm also in one of the breakout rooms and happy to share more insights.
Thank you very much, Madeline. So great to hear about a different way for very small companies who wish to get involved. So if I can just invite to the floor now Irache Paredes. So Irache was participating previously in the Project Vedlot and their open calls, and she's going to share very briefly what her company is built, which is within honey.ai. And then I'll be inviting Juan Izasa, who's also from a similar project, who worked on something called Beam IDL. So maybe Irache, if I invite you up to the stage.
Okay, hello everyone. I will share my. Okay, you have already presentation. Okay, so just as a brief introduction, we are a company from Spain that design, manufacture, and commercializes digital microscope solutions with computer vision and artificial intelligence. Next slide. The first application that we did, it was to meet specific quality analysis that are done on the honey industry. It is very specific and very niche, but they really require very complex and difficult quality analysis that today are done manually, like yeast counting, pollen analysis, crystallization, and other measures of quality. So what we did, next slide. What we did is just to develop a self-driven IoT device, which is built from a digital microscope that is automated, together with an AI module, which is hosted in the cloud. The idea is that with this system, they don't need experts, so they can use it as a robot at their premises. They save money, they reduce the waiting time, and they increase the control of the product. Next slide. So the idea that we developed in MedLiot, we applied for this call because we wanted to move part of our cloud computing to the edge. So instead of having all the AI pipeline on the cloud, we could put part of the pipeline on the edge. So we applied to MedLiot call last year, which is a 11-month project. It was 84,000 euros of a grant. And with this program, what we got, it was technical support, because we had continuous mentorship with our experts. And also we had the opportunity not only to receive the grant, but also to do free testing. So it is a very good opportunity to, in case that there are like state-of-the-art technologies over there, you can test them in advance, you don't pay, and still you receive money for that. So my advice, my tips is that just when writing the proposal, try to be like extremely annoying to the coordinator. So ask in case that you have any doubt or whatever. Try to really understand the technical framework and how they can help you, because it makes no sense that you ask the project if technically it will not be useful for you. And when writing the proposal, I would suggest that instead of thinking only what you need, think about what their consortium needs, because it's kind of win-win collaboration. So if you write the proposal thinking about how you can help them, then you will increase your chances to win. And yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Irache, and some
good
great
luck.
points there. Yeah, and I'll come back to you with a couple of questions before we leave. Juan from Exxon Engineering, over to you.
Yes, good afternoon. I hope you can hear me. I just want to support the idea of Irache. Is really the way she just described it. So we are Exxon Engineering. We did already a couple of open calls participations, and in this last one, can you go please to the next slide? We were trying to test and support one applications. Exum Engineering is a company that was founded in 2018, and since the beginning, we just are offering from the same company the development of electronics, embedded software, and advanced manufacturing. So since the beginning, we're making somehow edge computing. And one of the biggest challenges, if you think about advanced manufacturing, can you go please to the next slide? Is that when you are dealing with laser processes, high-speed processes, more unstable processes, you need different sensors. And in this case, we're using high-speed cameras, thermal cameras, visual cameras, which was the case of the Beam IDL, was an open call project inside of Betliot. And yes, in this case, we're dealing with like many sensors, different inputs, a lot of necessity of, let's say, processing capacities. So in this case, we're just trying to support the operator with the cameras, thermal and visual cameras, to be able to follow the process and to also set up the process for different materials. So let's say, can you go please to the next slide? The lessons learned, or our results in this case, really similar to what Irache just said, is it was a really good opportunity to test an idea, to go to the proof of concept, having also the support of the Betliot consortium. And I completely agree that making many questions, not only during the proposal, but also during the project, and also having their support in our case was a little bit different, because we were able to have already before the hardware. So we were making more questions about the how to keep improving, let's say, our idea. This was really helpful. So the mentorship is really interesting. Another thing that I have to say is it's only 11 months. In some cases, it's maybe a little bit more than 1 year, but it's not that many times so that you can fall asleep. You really have to be fast to be able to use the opportunity as much as you can. And at the end, in our situation with the Beam IDL, is that we are showing, we have the proof of concept, and we are able to convince more customers and more companies to work with us just because of this proof of concept. Thank you very much again for the opportunity to explaining our case, and I hope this helps other participants to motivate to present to the open calls.
Excellent. Thank you both so much for joining us. And before you go, both Irache and Juan, can I ask you one question? What is it that how much have these impacted your business? Like, what's been the actual impact on your business from participating in the open call? What is it you're taking away? I'm actually going to ask you two questions. And the second thing is, what did you get out of the experience that you didn't anticipate at the start? So maybe Irache, if you'd like to start.
In our case, the impact was from the commercial point of view and exploitation kind of view. It was quite useful because it is not a grant. I'm talking about the Betliot program, but in this one, they were not only covering technical development, but also they wanted us to do exploitation and business activities and so on. So it was the impact was very good because it helped us to promote the first sales. In fact, during this program, we did the first 10 customers. And so the impact was very good. And then the experience I think that you don't really need experience to write these cascade funding calls because it's quite simple on the documentation and bureaucracy side. So you only need to sit up one afternoon and read all the documents like the guide for applicants and so on, understand everything, and then start. I think the bureaucracy is generally very simple.
Excellent. And Juan, so what was the impact for you of
Yes,
BMIDL, and
in our case,
what did you get out of it that you didn't expect going in?
In our case, we don't have such a powerful impact, as Irache just said. We are dealing with a really complex solution, so we need time to introduce the solution to the industry. But the good thing is that with these results, we're opening already doors, which is already quite good, because before before you cannot present results, no one is at least letting you present or showing that you are able or it is possible to do it. So already opening these doors is for us a really, a good opportunity. And about something that wasn't at the beginning so clear, I think it takes always a lot of time starting running the trials and having results. And with other longer projects, we had the opportunity before already to be in an European project, which takes more time. And in this case, it's really like fast. So you really need to use the first 2 months, more or less, in my experience, to put everything into run. Otherwise, you're gonna lose the time. So it's not really that much time, and taking into account that we're not working the whole year because there's Christmas, then there's I don't know, another break and summer break and so on. At the end, it's like 11 months, but in 11 months to have everything fixed and to be able to work the whole 11 months is not so easy. So the timeline, I think, for us was one of the biggest challenges. So to be able to solve everything in 11 months, or at least to having results, good results in 11 months was the biggest challenge.
Excellent. Thank you both very much for joining and sharing your experience. I'm not sure we can guarantee 10 new customers for every winner of an open call, but we can at least try. And congratulations to you guys. And I think, as you say, these are about speed and opportunity and networks as well. So thank you both very much. And now we've finished the information session of today. And it's a chance for you to all now go and meet with the individual projects that are of your interest. We have 2 sessions. So there's 20 minutes each. You can go into the breakout rooms on the right-hand side. So at the bottom of your screen on Zoom, there should be a breakout room button that you can click. You can join whatever project you want to meet with for your first session. We will close the rooms again and come back together for the second session to give you the opportunity to meet twice. They won't be recorded, so please do make sure you take down names of people you're speaking with and you want to follow up with. And otherwise, I wish you all the best of luck, and I hope you have some excellent conversations. So thank you all again, everyone.